Hello, TravelON followers, subscribers, or if you're new to the channel, welcome all travelers. Now, this is a little bit of a different video from Mr. TravelON because today, well, I'm putting my serious hat on because we're going to talk about reviews. Now, lots of you get in touch with me and are quite worried and anxious about your holidays because you've either seen reviews or you did a little bit of research and reviewed before, then made a booking on a hotel. And now you're sort of worrying because somebody said this, or you heard this, or you saw a review about this. So in this video, we're going to have a little bit of a moan about social media in general and complaints and reviews on social media. We're going to talk about TripAdvisor. We're going to talk about Google Business. We're going to talk about the dreaded Facebook and Facebook groups. And I'm just going to talk about the best ways to complain, if you like, or the best ways to get your opinion across about a business, whether it be a huge business or a small business, and how to review things properly and how not to review things, because I see a lot of things out there that are just not okay with me. I also get a lot of business owners that are just fed up and tired of reviews and trying so hard to please everybody in this world where literally you cannot please everybody, can you? So let's dig in and let's talk about reviews, complaints, and what to do on your holidays or your travels. Because remember, one man's trash is another man's treasure. And these are only opinions that you see online, and this video is only my opinion. So let's go. Right then, let's start with the benefits of social media, TripAdvisor, the internet in general, for you to get a better overall picture of the holiday you're booking, the hotel you're booking, or where you're going to go out eating and drinking. Now, it's important to remember what I said before. This is just somebody's opinion. I could sit down and eat a steak and think it's the best meal I've ever had. You could sit down and think that is the worst meal that you've ever had. So you have to take these things just at face value. But of course, if you see a business, a hotel with hundreds and hundreds of bad reviews, then you can sort of get an idea of what the place is like. Now, I'm not saying I don't read reviews, because I do. Whatever I buy, whatever I do, I always go straight to the review section and have a look. And I always find it good that if there is a bad review on there, if the business owner has replied to it respectfully and answered any questions that might be there, or just put future clients' minds at rest by answering the problems or even just apologizing, then it does make you feel that little bit more confident in buying or booking or going to that establishment. So what's the best way for you to review a business? Now, remember, back in the day, before the internet, we used to write letters, didn't we? So if you had a problem and you bought something or you went somewhere and you weren't happy, you would write a letter to that company, and 9 times out of 10, you would either get a response with a voucher, some compensation, something usually free. But these days it just seems to me that some people, not all people, are writing reviews for the wrong reasons. They're not writing reviews to help future visitors or future clients of that business buy or visit the establishment or the hotel. They're literally writing it for their own purpose. And realistically, some people use it as a bit of an ego trip. Now, not everybody, of course. Of course, these days, nobody writes letters, but you can write an email. So what's the first thing you should do if you're unhappy with a hotel, if you're unhappy with a bar or restaurant? Maybe you've gone for a meal and you didn't enjoy it. What is the first thing that you should do? Well, in my opinion, and again, this video is all about opinions, you should first of all try and speak to a member of staff. So let's use the example of going for a meal in a restaurant. You've sat down. Maybe the service wasn't fantastic. Maybe your food's arrived a little bit late. Maybe you don't like the food. Maybe it was undercooked. First thing to do is obviously inform the member of staff. Now, remember, the member of staff is there to do a job. Yes, they are there to be polite, courteous, but we can't all have amazing staff now, can we? So if that member of staff doesn't or can't solve the problem, then please do ask for a manager or an owner, because a lot of the businesses where you will be frequenting on holiday, the owner will be there. Now, being an owner of the business will mean that they will take your complaint a lot more serious and will have more power to rectify the situation, whether that be financially, replacing, or whatever they can do. I am sure if they are a business owner with sense, they will want you to leave their establishment happy. Now, of course, if you do make a complaint and it's a valid complaint and the staff hasn't helped you and the manager's not there and you've had no support or no compensation at all, in my opinion, I would ask for the contact of the owner or the management so that you can at least write an email or a WhatsApp. These days you can WhatsApp people on WhatsApp Business and just get across your point of view before you reach the internet and tell the world, because I think this is not only a more professional way to do things, but actually might result in your problem either being solved, compensated in some way, or maybe you'll get a free meal or something out of it. Now, surely that's of more benefit to you personally and solving your problem rather than jumping on Facebook or TripAdvisor and telling the world about your negative experience at a certain business. Now, we used the example of a restaurant, didn't we? And the reason I did that is because a restaurant is a small business. Now, of course, I'm not talking about a restaurant like McDonald's or Burger King or somewhere huge like that. I mean, that's run by a massive, massive organization. But lots of the businesses, especially when you go on holiday, are family run businesses. Now, I can tell you from owning businesses in the past here in Lanzarote that it's hard work and you put everything you've got into running that business. Now, sometimes it's not going to run perfect, is it? Staff shortages, problems, technical problems, people problems, you name it, they are there. I also think that sometimes myself as well are too quick to judge and too quick to get out there and tell the world. And it's sort of a bit of a spite thing, really. You know, if you feel like you've had a bad experience and you've been ripped off, of course, that anger's inside you. And it's so easy nowadays just to literally, while you're still sitting there, write a review. And you do feel a little bit better. But do bear in mind a couple of things. Now, again, I'm going back to small businesses and big businesses, but we will talk about big businesses in a minute. Now, if a small business does get 1, 2, 3, 4 bad reviews, it can have a real negative effect. And like I said before, small family-run businesses, they put everything into trying to please everybody. And as I said at the beginning, it really is impossible. So not only are you affecting the business name, but you're also affecting the livelihood of people that run small businesses. So how can we solve this situation? Well, first of all, like I said, try and speak to the owner or the manager if you're not getting anywhere with the staff. And remember, staff are staff, they're there to do a job. We're all human, we're there to get paid and we're there to go home. It's just human nature. So please try and speak to the owner or the manager of the establishment before you make a complaint on social media. The second thing is, if you can't do that, try and get in touch with them some way. Like I said before, there's emails, there's WhatsApp Business, there's Facebook pages. You can drop them a private message first of all, explain the situation, and it is valuable feedback for that business owner. This is feedback that maybe doesn't need to be fed back to the world, but to the owner of the business themselves, so they can make improvements in order for future clients to have a better experience. You writing a negative review on TripAdvisor, Facebook, or anything like that, yes, it helps other clients make an informed decision. And yes, it will help the business owner make changes in order for people to have better experiences, but it is also going to affect them in a very, very negative way. So do think, please, before you do this. Now, you know, Mr. TravelON, I'm a miserable old git and I'm a tight git as well. So I'm not saying in any way that I've never made a negative review about a business, but I can tell you that small businesses, I probably haven't, unless it's been really, really bad. But big businesses, yeah. And big businesses would come under the category of hotel brands, wouldn't it? So this brings me on to hotels, because let's face it, a lot of the hotels are big hotel brands. And you making a review on a hotel possibly isn't going to affect a small family run business, is it? It's a big brand like Barcelo, like H10, like Iberostar. You know, they're a big company. They've got a team of people specializing in answering reviews and stuff like this. But it still may have a negative effect on jobs. Remember, these hotels do give a lot of work to local people on the islands. Now, I'm not saying don't leave a negative review for a hotel at all if you've had a bad stay, but do leave that negative review if your problems have not been solved in resort. Now, if you're going to sit in your room all holiday and say, this is horrible, I don't like this, I don't like that, and you're not going to report this to the receptionist or the manager, then I'm sorry, you do not have the right to make a review. You must give the hotel the opportunity to solve what issues you have before you take to social media or anywhere and tell people a negative side of the hotel, because it might be that you are in a room that you don't like, and if the hotel can move you, I'm sure they will move you. No hotel wants negative reviews, so report your problems first of all. Keep a record of who you reported it to and when you reported it, and keep a document of everything that you're not happy about and what you've done to try and rectify that. Now, why am I saying this? Well, I'm saying this because holidays, hotels, you can claim compensation, and 9 times out of 10 you will get compensation, whether that be a voucher for a next holiday or even a refund from your holiday, depending on the situation. Now, this has been taken advantage of in the past, where people will go on holiday, have a fantastic time, take a few really negative pictures, send in, get some money back, happy days. It's not the way to do it. But if you use your head, and if you really do have a genuine problem with your holiday, with your hotel, with your room, you're not happy with anything, report it to reception, report it to management, make a note of who you reported it to, what time you reported it to, because they will be doing the same. They will have a record of your complaint, because what will happen is whoever you booked your holiday with, if you haven't gone directly with the hotel, they will therefore write to the hotel and say, this customer has complained about this, we need to offer them some kind of compensation. So they will be keeping a record of your complaint. So make sure to keep a record of your own complaint as well. And that will help you in justifying any complaint and any form of compensation that you might seek about your hotel or your holiday in general. A few things to remember when you do take to social media and you do review hotels on TripAdvisor, for example, is that a lot of people are so excited about their holiday. Now, when I'm booking a hotel, I will always go straight to the reviews. So if you do see lots and lots of really bad reviews, well, first of all, you've got to think about the price. So you've got to compare that to a price. Now, if you're getting bad reviews on a 2-star, very cheap accommodation, well, you get what you paid for, don't you? And like I've said before, what you might consider a bad deal, somebody will consider a good deal. And for those of you that are booking hotels and holidays, please remember that you are booking with an expectation. Your expectation of a fantastic holiday is completely different to everybody else's, and what you expect sometimes isn't what you get. So do read reviews and do take things on board, but then do compare it to what you're booking. Now, if you are booking a 5-star hotel and there is a lot of negative reviews, well, that means that you really do need to look at those negative reviews and really see what's wrong. But if you're booking a dirt cheap bed and breakfast and you see some negative reviews about the standard of the rooms or the standard of the grounds, well, if it's that cheap, it's cheap for a reason. And if that's what you want, cheap and cheerful, well, happy days. It doesn't matter what other people say, does it? So in my opinion, when should you put your review online? When does it come beneficial for other people to get your opinion on something? Well, in my opinion, it's when you've exhausted all other areas and literally got nowhere. So where can you write your reviews? What is the best platform to use? Well, the biggest one, of course, is TripAdvisor, but TripAdvisor does have its flaws. As a business owner, the only thing you can do is respond to a negative review. But sometimes a business owner might get a review that's completely untrue. Let's face it, there are going to be people out there that are just going to review for the sake of reviewing and review negative for the sake of reviewing negative, because that's just the world we live in. Some people are just not very nice, are they? And the only thing a business can do is reply to the review in question. Now, I've said this before, if you are a business owner watching this, do reply to every single review on TripAdvisor, whether it be positive or negative, because that shows to any potential customer that you care about your business and that you will take on board anybody's feedback. Another bad thing about TripAdvisor is they're a massive company. So in my mind, it's like a huge company trying to crush these smaller companies. Now, again, hotels, of course, are big brands, so that's fine. But like I've said throughout this video, small to medium-sized businesses, a bad review or a few bad reviews on TripAdvisor can really affect them negatively. Now, there is a thing called SEO on Google, and for those techies out there, you'll know what SEO is, and that is getting your business name at the top of Google. Now, of course, TripAdvisor, the minute your business name gets put into TripAdvisor, the chances are it's going to be at the number 1 or number 2 position. So if a company has some bad reviews, maybe they've just opened and it's teething problems, maybe there's been a bad week, maybe there's been a death in the family and the business owner's just trying to get by. There's so many different reasons things can go bad, and unless you speak or advise the owner directly without putting it in the public eye, then I think it's unfair to not give them a chance to rectify these situations, because a few negative reviews can take you from a 4-star to a 3-star, or from a 5-star to a 4-star. And when you're searching for that business name, and TripAdvisor being such a big brand, I can guarantee you it's up the top. And when you see a business name and a bad star, well, it automatically puts a bad feeling in people's minds, and maybe they don't even read that and just won't visit the establishment in general. Also on TripAdvisor, it's not a forum. So if you've had a bad time at a restaurant, but somebody else has had a really good time, they can't jump on and comment on there to say that they really enjoyed their experience. So it does have a negative effect overall what you're putting on TripAdvisor. And the reason I'm telling you this is just that when you go to make that impulsive judgment of, I am going to write a review on this business, do think of the things behind it and the reasons why, and do try and rectify it before putting it out there in an open forum, because it will have a negative effect on a family business. Next up brings me to Facebook groups and Facebook pages, especially Facebook groups. Now, most businesses will have a Facebook page, and on that Facebook page, there will be a little button where you can either WhatsApp them or you can send them a private message. So again, you don't have to write them a letter anymore, do you? You can write to them directly and get a direct response. Too many people these days jump straight into a Facebook group. I went here last night and I wasn't happy because of X, Y, and Z. Now, Facebook gives other people the option to reply to your complaint. So if you're putting something bad on there and 10 other people have said, well, I had a great meal there, or I really enjoyed that place, then at least Facebook does open that forum for other people to jump on board. And maybe other people will jump on board and say, you know what, we had the same bad experience and we didn't enjoy that. But that will give you an informed decision on whether you go there, whether you book that hotel, because you'll see that other people will either back the business or back your complaint. So that is one benefit to Facebook. Now, I remember back in the day, my days as a rep, I dealt with loads of complaints, and that's what it was back in the day. You would complain to somebody and that person would solve the problem. Nowadays, people don't tend to complain to anybody, but yet complain to the world and receive nothing in return. They always used to say to me, if you've had a good experience, you'll tell 1 or 2 people, but if you've had a bad experience, you'll tell 10 to 20. Well, nowadays, if you have a bad experience, you can tell sort of 10 to 20,000, can't you, with one post? So do think about this and try and get something that's going to make you feel better. And more importantly, give feedback to an owner or a hotel or a brand or whoever you are complaining about or have had a negative experience, so they can rectify it. And that, to me, is a bigger benefit for future clients than it is putting a load of negative reviews about a business. The final other platform that you can review on is Google Business itself. Most businesses will have a Google My Business page and you can put reviews on there. Now, the negative of that is the business can only reply, and sometimes it doesn't open that forum up for other people to give their opinions as well. So which is the best platform to do this? I don't know. TripAdvisor, I guess, is the biggest. Facebook for me is a little bit better because it opens the forum up. The business owner can also, if the complaint is not justified and the review is not justified, quite easily get that removed. And it also gives other people the chance to either defend that business or jump on the bandwagon, if you like, and say, yeah, I had a bad experience there. But all in all, I think reviews are to give the owner of the business some feedback so that they can make the business better. Therefore, meaning when you visit the business, you will have a better experience. Should you be reviewing hotels? Of course you should. You should be letting people know what their holiday is going to be like. But remember, it's your opinion. Other people may completely disagree with you. And do bear in mind that people book holidays, hotels, and they're excited to book them. Maybe they don't do the research in the first place and they just go in and book the hotel, and then they see all these negative reviews and it starts playing with their minds and they're thinking, oh, are we going to have a good holiday? And this is the reason I've made this video, because loads of people get in touch with me and say, I've booked this hotel and I've heard some really, really bad reviews on this. I don't know what to do. Shall I cancel it? And my answer is always read the reviews in full, see what's good, see what's bad, see what you agree with, see what you don't agree with, and just take some reviews with a pinch of salt. So there you go. That was Mr. TravelON's review of reviews. Now, again, as I said at the beginning, it's only my opinion. I'm sure a lot of you will be out there and disagree with me, and that's fine. That's what makes the world go round. And bad reviews and good reviews as well are just opinions. So in summary, if you have got a bad review about something, remember, if it's a small and medium-sized business, speak to the owner before, or speak to the management before. Try and rectify it yourself, because it's very negative on a small business to have bad reviews. If it's a hotel or a big brand, well, crack on with the review. But if you want to get something for yourself, 9 times out of 10, if you complain properly, you'll receive some kind of compensation from big businesses. I can guarantee you that. And finally, if you've exhausted everything and you've got nowhere with anybody, then by all means, put a bad review on there, because some people do need to be told that they're doing something wrong. That's all from me, folks. Make sure to like, follow and subscribe, and don't get reviewing Mr. TravelON, because he only brings you good things. I'll see you in the next video. See you later.